Hello guys, with you Earther. Today we have a selection of the coolest toys that wants not only a child but also any adult, so I think it will be definitely interesting. But to brighten up the viewing, be sure to take something tasty with you, and of course same seagulls, sit down comfortably. Also, before watching, do not forget to put your thumb up and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos, and also for my subscribers at the end. Video contest for $10, a little but still, so be sure to watch to the end. Let us go. Mazda RX-7 sports car produced by the Japanese automaker Mazda from 1978 to 2002. Year: the original RX-7 was equipped with a two-section rotary piston engine. It had a front, mid-engine, rear-wheel drive layout. In this tiny drift-in cars is exactly the same structure, perfectly repeating appearance. The author of the idea made it in a beautiful snow-white color. It goes superbly with the black spoiler and some other details of the same color. I look at it from the side and I can't take my eyes off. But how you like Mazda? Write in the comments. Woo! But I already understand this. An adult size, such a tank probably costs $1,000. It is felt from afar. Its caterpillar is made of metal. Everything shines, everything is very heavy, reliable, and looks super impressive, especially when shooting so close and when you see him in relation to a person. But in general, look right away what kind of tank is compared to a person. It's just huge, and I can't imagine how many hours people have been steaming over its creation. I'll be surprised if it's the shaitan of the car and it also helped to shoot. If only there was a complete hello. Well, where would we go in an issue about top cars without the same Bugatti car that was the record holder for speed in the whole world? This is a Bugatti Chiron 2017, made on a scale of 1 to 12 years. Although I look at it and do not feel the difference in design at all in 4 years, it seems as if it was generally taken from the future. You don't have this. Well, in short, the main thing is that the machine is beautiful. On numbers can be scored. I am of such an opinion. As many of you might know, the engines in such cars, often they put it in the back, so the toys took care of it so much that now the owner can take it off. Rear protective frame and watch everything closer touch and all that, in my opinion, is a cool decision. Conventional planes are certainly cool, but what do you say about a seaplane just like that? And is with me, I march to go with 55, a copy of which is currently flaunting. To say before your eyes that it all looks more epic cool, to say nothing. They really want to. What to expect from a copy of such a great creation? This Italian seaplane has very unusual structures. Two-hull monoplane power plant consisting of 2 engines located longitudinally in a common above the fuselage, and moto gondola drive to push air. Counter-rotating propellers, fuselage and wing design, target on wooden tail. Beams and plumage are mixed. You probably don't understand a damn thing right now. Yes, to be honest, I do too. But sounds very confident and unusual. Agree, and this is a pretty cool truck, or to be more precisely, something like the same truck that was on the screensavers of all games about truckers. For me personally, she immediately brings back pleasant memories from childhood, and she looks beautiful outwardly, so I decided to show it to you. You never know, among the audience there will be the same truck lovers as myself. But this is some crazy Zill which is best suited for off-road. No, true, you only look with what ease he overcomes these stone barriers the size of practically from him. This is what I understand the patency in this matter. Except for a powerful engine, hefty wheels helped him. I'm sure if you model this car in real size, then their height would be no less than an adult. Made a Zill in a beautiful orange color, turned out super bright, powerful and cheerful SUV where you can properly pile on the stones. T-34 Soviet medium tank of the Great Patriotic War period was mass-produced since 1940. Years: during 1942-1947 the main tank of the Red Army, and in the USSR was the main tank of the Red Army until the first half of 1944 before entering the troops of its modification T-34-85, the most massive tank. The Second World War and the post-war period, every person has heard about this monster here. Even the one from the cave is real. However, the main feature of this model was not, and weapons are not, the thickness and rational slopes of the armor, and are not relatively small dimensions, the main advantage of the 34 manufacturability, and it was not received immediately, but was developed throughout the war. The result was obvious. Mighty Tigers made 1,354 pieces of medium PS4, just under 8,700 units. The number of T-34s produced by the end of 1945 reached 55,000 cars, and in a great industrial war, this means, if not all, then a lot. Volkswagen T1 car of the Volkswagen concern, produced from 1950 to 1967 before us. A replica of one of the first civilian minivans, the car also became the face of an entire era, and along with its successor, the T2 was very popular among happy people, and so popular that this machine, they called it Happy Mobile at all. Although why am I telling you everything? After all, they are so well known. With this handsome man, Let me tell you better who came up with the idea of creating a minibus. Volkswagen came to the mind of the Dutchman Ben Pan, who in 1947 drew in his notebook the first sketches of the T1. This idea was to the taste of the general director not at the end of 1949. The Transporter was officially presented for the first time, but how you like this red-white bus? Write your opinion in the comments. Next cool pickup truck made to scale 1:4. By analogy with the Transport already available to the authors of the video. To be honest, it looks rather strange when such a big car drives without a driver. This sound, these dimensions, this is power, it just somehow doesn't add up in the head, but that's all. The truth and the car are really completely radio controlled, put like if you would not refuse such. Toys on the key remote control. This is not the first time I've been telling you about how surprised I was by this or that machine. But the next one I just can't help but highlight it as a bulldozer. No, it doesn't he look like any Model K standing on a stand sparkling with its color from which dust particles blow off. It has his scuffs as a real hard worker who has already seen a lot of things. But because of this it becomes even more interesting. It can really be used for its intended purpose. I am sure that nothing will happen to it. Really hoping for a large scale is not worth it. By the way, you notice the driver before sitting inside. Some dude who controls all this miracle, and not far from him to one of the pipes holding the roof is tied with a rusty chain so old. Damn well, how cool looking at this car again.
I feel like a happy child, so huge respect to the creator of such an amazing toy. Remember, literally, I just drew your attention to the top modern look and Range Rover, so now you will see that the cars of this brand were not always like this from the cover. Another range of the truth of the year, so who knows what they betrayed it on a scale of 1 to 10. Soviet beige color and placed inside some driver in a leather jacket. In general, they did everything to make the car seem old to us. To see a Range Rover in such a guise, to put it mildly, strange and unusual, but whatever one may say, this is an experience. I generally saw such a car for the first time in the whole your life. If you also write about it in the comments, I wonder how many of us are like that at all. Now we have an amazing replica of a heavy-duty 4-axle truck tractor. High cross-country ability used by the Soviet Army in the best years, was originally intended for the masses. Transportation of bulky cargo such as armored vehicles on roads with solid, covered and off-road. Mass-produced by the Kurgan plant of wheel tractor since 1963. Years continuing to carry the marking of the masses. The second generation of tractors was developed in the Mound. In addition to being used in the army, they worked in the national economy, transporting large sized indivisible. The cargo was also exported to many countries of the world. Just imagine before you. Such a cool replica. Where would you first use it? Would try to translate something. Or maybe they did something else. Write in the comments. It's time for a huge technique. Ladies and gentlemen, Tatra 813 Czechoslovak military heavy-duty truck production. The design is based on the traditional Tatra spinal frame, which is the pipe inside which the transmission elements are located. Such a frame resists very well bending and torsion, and also made it possible to make the chassis modular. Cars were produced with different wheel, the base and the number of axles. The wheels of all axles were single-sided with a centralized pumping system. Tire suspension of all wheels is independent. Although what is it? I explain everything to you. I think you already see that the car is kaput's how big and kaput's how stable it is. Unlikely that anyone will doubt it. The next car, or rather a truck, is simply indispensable in toy construction sites of any complexity and scale. This is a repeated model of the Mercedes-Benz Actros. She combined into imagine a complex design, multifunctionality and more realistic details of what this one is worth. Mercedes icon here. You can independently control the retractable mechanisms, tilt, cabin to extend the outriggers. In general, everything is the same as in the real model Class A. This thing will suit all those guys who do not like to be on the front lines while in a tank. This is some kind of military vehicle that I have seen a lot where, but I still don't know exactly what it is called. Rocket launcher. Think you drove up to your friend's base and went to shoot it from afar, and it shoots. A machine with such a sickly power, allow for accuracy. You need to get used to it here, gently speaking. Not stable and peculiar. But anyway, did you know the name of the car? Ghostbusters. Yes, I agree that few people remember this or even stuck on it. Attention, but if you are an exception, then I will leave you my personal thumbs up. Well, for not knowing, as I myself remind you, the legendary machine is called Act 1 for helping to create the machine. Director Ivan Reitman turned to cinematographer Stephen Adane. However, DM, after spending several days looking for a suitable car, bought another wrecked old hearse. Miller Meteor on the Highway 1959 Cadillac Fleetwood, which has become a universal symbol of the franchise. Ghostbusters. And here's an interesting fact for you: during filming, only one was used car, which is quite risky, and in the event of a breakdown it could cause significant delays in filming and as a result of problems with production. Ironically, this happened in the scene where Ray Winston is talking on the way over the Brooklyn Bridge when filming started. From a bird's eye view, the car stalled, but the problem was only mechanical, so the car was repaired pretty quickly and used in subsequent scenes. Guys know what it is, what kind of legendary Soviet truck it is? Of course it is Gas-66. Its carrying capacity in the original is about 2 tons. This children's toy took into account everything from perfectly matched colors to chic cushioning and stability on the road. Even driving this tiny model, you feel all the power of a real big version through. Easily overcomes any obstacles on the street, even in bad weather. Does not drive fast according to the author. He does not stop there and wants to further improve this model on all fronts. UAZ-469 is the main command vehicle in the Soviet Army and also in the countries of Warsaw. Contracts since the mid-1970s, which replaced Gas-69 in this capacity as its predecessor. Starting from April during 2010, a limited series of subs was produced under conditional marketing name 469. The release of this series was timed to coincide with the 65th anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War and planned in the amount of 5,000 units. Apparently the author of the project decided, repeat that same exclusive car and you know he did it. At least you did it for me. I really went, and this is some kind of crazy all-terrain vehicle on a Caterpillar track. Usually, as everyone is used to Lego cars look cool, but in real life they immediately face problems with deep pits, uneven surfaces or weather conditions. Here with the last problem there is no weather shining, but here the pits of twigs and leaves of the like do what they do that interfere with this truck. Despite to this he is very confident, rapidly reaching his goal, and even the fact that the truck is boring looks here becomes secondary in order to adequately respond to the challenge thrown. And Chevrolet, the Ford Mustang, needed unprecedented power. The only way was to beat the importunate pony car. The answer was the Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Only with excellent speed qualities, but also with excellent stability. Our friend is made in blue and white colors, which makes it highly visible in the stream of cars and stand out on the shelf of collectibles. Wheelbarrow is a replica to match its original, excellent road holding and easy to manage. Full-size Japanese sub-flagship model range of the company Mitsubishi in 2007. Year became the 12-time champion of the Dakar Rally for 6 years in a row. Won this race on a cross-country. Such achievements inspired one guy to create with his own hands at home. Real Mitsubishi Pajero. Damn it, he is stunned how cool the car turned out. Easily rides the dirtiest and roughest roads, climbs inexplicable slopes, and with all this, it doesn't stop for a second, or stupidly everything works in it like clockwork. It's time for the guys from Mitsubishi to call this craftsman to their job. I think they will come in handy. Next in line we have some kind of giant. I would even say the local record holder is the Edge. From Liebherr, whose model is called LDM 11200. The maximum lifting capacity combined with the world's longest telescopic boom for crane poles. Also available are a variety of grille extensions and a developed active steering system. Speed-dependent rear axle control is integrated into 9U on and off the highway thanks to Howell-shaped tie rod of the telescopic boom significantly increases the load capacity. Agree sounds slightly incomprehensible. Not every kind of viewer is savvy in the terminology of cranes but actually understand. Here and in nothing the original is very cool, which means but really understand. Here and in nothing the original is very cool, which means this is a top copy of Lego. Could not fail to turn out like this. The only thing that annoys me is the amount of work done. Estimate how much time such a crane was assembled. It's tin, and this is the coolest Volga, and no, now we are not talking about that Volgina that rides your old neighbor. Here we are seeing a really beautiful instance of GAZ-21, made in an unusual color for this car. Although this car is generally often unusual, used by pan arts and gaming industry, so regular color, bright colors for her. I think it was not a surprise that the metal machine has an opening door and a thoughtful design, repeating all the smallest details up to the brand icon in general. This is exactly the case when you can calmly take and put the typewriter in a conspicuous place so that it decorates it day and night. Just check out this incredible truck from the guys from Mercedes, or rather the truck is not from them, but here is the model, made just of this brand. It turned out to be some kind of hybrid or something of Soviet modern. And, Bigfoot, at least I have such feelings, but in any case, we are really worthy of being proud, such and very beautiful. Besides, it has a lot of all sorts of details that are most interesting. See for yourself close up. I think this is the first thing I would do. Show no one this model in real life. Yes, it is, does not differ in high speeds, but excuse me, this was not even meant here, but it will easily transport all several of your other cars, and it's not forgotten how you could understand us today. You go through all the wild animals. The leopard was already a tiger too. What have we forgotten? Ah, yes, I'll show you a panther. Panther is a German tank from the Second World War. In German classification, he was average, and according to all others, he could rather be classified as severe when at the beginning. World War E. The Germans encountered Soviet T-34s. They experienced a real shock, forced to finish on. Also did not forget about the competitive $10, but the conditions are still the same. Subscription to channel, like and creative comment under the video, and all you participate.